Hello, ChatGPT. Can you hear me?
Hey Fatima, great to hear from you. What's on your mind today?
Yes. Now I have in my mind: can failure be more valuable than success?
Oh, that's a really interesting topic. I mean, sometimes failure pushes us to grow in ways success never does, right? What made you start thinking about that?
Yes. As you know, most people celebrate success, but behind every great achievement, there are often multiple failures that teach valuable lessons. Failure can build resilience, improve discussion making, encourage creativity, and help people grow stronger. So many successful people, entrepreneurs, scientists, athletes, and leaders are experienced failure before reaching their goals. So, in this discussion, I would like to explore whether failure can be more valuable than success and how it can shape our personal and professional lives.
I love that perspective. Yeah, exactly. Failure is like this hidden mentor, right? And I think it's often in those tough moments that we build grit, we reflect on what went wrong, and we get clearer about our purpose. So I'm curious, do you have any personal examples or maybe a story you'd like to unpack?
Okay, can you tell me why many people,
Of course. Why don't
why
many people
many,
talk about failure as much, right? I think a lot of it has to do with how success is so publicly celebrated. There's this social pressure to appear perfect, and failure can feel really personal or even embarrassing. But I think when we start to normalize it, it really breaks down those barriers and we realize failure is just part of the process.
okay, as you know, why do many people fear failure more than they value success?
Yeah, that's a big one. I think a lot of it comes from fear of judgment. You know, society often ties our worth to success. So failing can feel like a personal loss or like we're falling behind. But if we flip that mindset, failure is just a sign of trying, experimenting, and moving forward, even if it's in a roundabout way.
Okay, so can failure sometimes teach lessons that success cannot? Why?
Absolutely. I mean, failure often forces us to confront what's not working, to reflect deeply, and to adapt in ways that pure success never really does. And when we learn those lessons, we often come back stronger, more creative, and more prepared for the next step. So, in a way, failure kind of becomes a hidden fuel for future success.
Okay, how does failure help people develop resilience and mental strength?
Yeah, that's a really powerful aspect. When we fail and we don't give up, we prove to ourselves that we can handle setbacks. Over time, that repeated experience of bouncing back strengthens our mindset. We realize we can face discomfort, adapt, and keep going. So, failure doesn't just test us, it really builds us.
Okay, so why do many successful entrepreneurs and innovators consider failure an important part of their journey?
Yeah, that's a really great point. For so many entrepreneurs, failure is almost a built in step in the innovation process. Every time something doesn't work, they gather data, they learn, and they pivot. So for them, failure is actually a key part of discovering what works, refining their ideas, and ultimately scaling up.
Okay, so how can failure improve discussion making and problem solving skills?
Yeah, that's a great angle. When we fail, we're often forced to slow down and analyze what went wrong. And that reflection sharpens our ability to think critically. We start to ask better questions, identify root causes, and explore creative solutions. So, in a sense, every failure is a mini case study in what not to do, which guides us towards smarter choices next time.
Okay, can you tell me what is the difference between failing and giving up?
Ooh, that's a really important distinction. Failure is temporary, it's a step in the process, a learning opportunity. Giving up, on the other hand, is when you stop trying altogether, often before you fully discover. support. Failure means you tried and you learned. Give up means you just stopped before reaching that next breakthrough.
Okay, so how can a growth mindset help people see failure as opportunity instead of a defeat?
Yeah, that's a big one. A growth mindset is all about seeing abilities as things you can develop, not fixed traits. So when you have a growth mindset, failure doesn't define you. It's just data. You ask, what can I learn here? How can I improve next time? And that perspective keeps you moving forward with curiosity, not fear.
Okay, what are some common reasons people fail to achieve their goals?
Yeah, a few big ones come to mind. One is fear of failure, of course. People don't even start because they're afraid they'll fall short. Another is lack of clarity. When goals aren't specific or meaningful, it's really hard to stay focused. And then sometimes people just give up too soon. When they hit a roadblock, they don't push through or try a different approach.
Okay, so how can a growth mindset help people see failure as an opportunity instead of a default?
Exactly. So when you have a growth mindset, you treat failure like a puzzle to solve, not a verdict on your worth. You stay curious, ask yourself, what can I tweak? What can I learn? And that mindset keeps you resilient. So every failure just fuels your next attempt, bringing you closer to success.
Okay, what role does self confidence play in overcoming setbacks?
Oh, it's huge. Self confidence acts like a buffer. It keeps you moving forward even when things get tough. When you believe in yourself, you see setbacks as temporary, and that belief pushes you to keep trying, to experiment, and to eventually bounce back stronger.
Okay, can failure make a person more creative and innovative? How?
Absolutely. I mean, when things don't go as planned, it pushes you to think outside the box. You start exploring new approaches, combining ideas, and trying things you might never have considered. So, in a way, failure shakes up your usual patterns and sparks fresh creativity.
Okay, so how can teachers and parents help children develop a healthy attitude toward failure?
Yeah, that's really important. I think teachers and parents can model the attitude themselves, talking openly about their own setbacks and showing that failure is just part of learning. They can praise effort, not just outcomes, and create a safe space where kids know it's okay to try, stumble, and then try again.
Okay, uh, why do uh, why do some people become stronger after failure while other lose motivation?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a big factor is mindset and support. People who stay strong often reframe failure as a challenge.
Okay, uh, what habits can help people learn from their mistakes instead of repeating them? ChatGPT, can you hear me? ChatGPT, can you hear me? Okay. What are some famous examples of people who succeeded after repeating failures?
Oh, there are so many. I mean, J.K. Rowling was famously rejected by multiple publishers before Harry Potter took off. Thomas Edison had countless failed experiments before inventing the light bulb, and even Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. So their failures didn't define them, they just fueled their persistence and eventual success.
Okay, so how can failure improve leadership and teamwork skills?
Yeah, that's a great point. When leaders fail and openly reflect on it, they build trust and humility. They show their team that it's okay to stumble and that growth is possible. And as a team, when you face failure together, it's like a shared learning experience. It improves communication, collaboration, and resilience as a group.
Okay, why is taking risk important even when failure is possible?
Yeah, that's so key. Taking risks is really where growth happens. If you never step outside your comfort zone, you limit yourself to the same old patterns. Even though failure is possible, it's often through those risks that we discover new opportunities, innovative solutions, and deeper capabilities we never realized we had.
Okay, so what is the relationship between persistence and long-term success?
Yeah, they're really persistent is what keeps you going when challenges pop up.
Okay, ChatGPT, what advice would you give to someone who has recently experienced like difficult to accept?
Yeah, I'd say be kind to yourself first. It's okay to feel disappointed. Then try to reframe the setback as a lesson. Ask yourself what you learned and what small step you can take next. Surround yourself with supportive people and remember that this is just one chapter. It doesn't define your whole story.
Okay, so if you could
Yeah, if you have,
if you could change one thing about society view of failure, what would it be?
oh, that's such a thoughtful question. I think I would change how we define success in the first place. If we celebrated effort, resilience, and learning just as much as outcomes,
Okay, so thank you so much, ChatGPT, for this amazing conversation. So, um, see you in the next video, next conversation, and goodbye.